It's a dose of Buckley.
We're about a week away from another federal election, and before you just stop listening because politics are boring and you think I'm going to talk about who I'm voting for or what party's better, I'm not, because I could give a shit less who robs me blind anymore. I wasn't always so apathetic. I actually kept up with this nonsense, voted in every election I could once I turned 18, but I can't really be bothered anymore, and here's why. Since the year 2000, including the one in 2000 and the one this year, there will have been 5 federal elections. You know how many there should have been? 3. One in 2000, one in 2004, one in 2008, and we shouldn't have to deal with this shit until 2012 because these things are only supposed to happen every 4 years. But because of Canada's fucked up system, which I'm about to trivialize, we have to piss away money on this shit more often. Let me explain our system to any Americans listening, or any Canadians who are confused and wonder why some fucking guy or girl they've never heard of is always on the ballot instead of the leaders. In Canada, you vote for the people in your riding, or as Norm Macdonald put it, some fucker down the street. This is a politician who lives in your area and is supposed to give a shit about what's going on where you live, but really couldn't care less, who then becomes a member of parliament. There's 308 of these assholes, and whichever party has the most assholes in parliament, their top asshole gets to be prime minister. Now this might work out just fine, but in Canada, for some reason at some point in history, I imagine around the time smoking opium became popular, someone thought, you know what? We need to have more than 2 parties because Canadians want choice. So now we have the 3 major parties, which are the Conservatives, the Liberals, and the NDP, whose supporters are even more gullible than Leafs fans that keep thinking they're actually going to live to see them win anything. Then you got the Bloc Québécois, who don't even have a presence anywhere other than Quebec, and fuck the whole process in the ass. The goddamn Green Party that cries every election about not getting invited to debates, and would just bitch about there not being enough bike racks available if they were invited. And a bunch of other stupid parties that end up getting less votes than I get views on my YouTube videos, so in other words, virtually none. So then, the geniuses who came up with this shit said, okay, so if one party doesn't get 155 people elected, that's exactly one more than half of 308 for you mathematicians out there, they can still rule Canada if they have more seats than the other 800 parties, but they'll be called a minority government instead of a majority government, and all the other parties at random times throughout the year can just say, fuck you, we want another election because we're a bunch of fucking babies and don't like how the nation voted last time. Now change our shitty diapers, wah. Basically, it's something like that. So now, because there's really like 5 parties that legitimately have a shot at winning seats, the NDP keeps getting more popular, and about a quarter of the seats are in Quebec, where, as I said earlier, the Bloc fucks the whole process in the ass with a studded cock ring. The chances of us seeing a majority government again are about the same as the chances of me banging Christina Ricci in her Wednesday Addams costume, which means this shit's just gonna keep happening because politicians are a bunch of whiny little bitches and sore losers, so they have to call an election when they don't agree with what the other team is doing. And of course they won't agree, that's why they're on different fucking sides. So that's why I'm not voting. I don't give a shit about which asshole steals a third of my paycheck anymore. I'm not saying anarchy would be better. Humankind is way too fucking stupid to govern itself. We need at least one of these criminals to keep us in line. But as far as choosing which one it is, do it once every 4 years and be done with it. And stop wasting our fucking money on polling stations and campaigns and signs and all this other bullshit every 2 to 3 years just because the children pretending to be grown-ups in Ottawa can't fucking get along.